Rules are made to be broken. Only with Vodafone, you can get infinite data at the speed you choose, plus data at max speed to use how you desire. So if you wish to rule your feed, stream entire seasons, or upload to the cloud in your virtual boardroom, switch now to a plan with faster infinite data. Rule your speed, rule your network, rule infinitely. You rule with Vodafone.
Barry's a master with the power tools, but can he master the kitchen tools?
You don't see that on MasterChef.
The living room, Friday.
A teenage boy from Western Sydney is in jail tonight, having been chased down by police, allegedly in possession of a duffel bag full of weapons, including a sawn-off shotgun. It began in Yagoona when officers started to follow a car. They claim it accelerated through the streets, running red lights and putting lives at risk before trying and failing to escape on foot.
A Volkswagen pulls into the car park at Yagoona Station. Its four doors fly open while still moving. All the men bail out, but one. Sitting in the back seat of the vehicle, he's slow off the mark as his mates make a run for it. Police hot on their trail.
It just turned into an old-fashioned foot chase.
They all sprinted down this alleyway. The pursuit all caught on nearby security cameras, but the fourth, weighed down by some extra baggage, was tackled by the officers.
The police have chased them and managed to track down one of those males, an 18-year-old male, and in a bag that he had with him, we found a shotgun.
Plus a machete and a knife, despite the suspect, Ganyong Lee, staring down the barrel of a whole lot of trouble. He still manages a smile. Perhaps it was knowing his three mates had got away, even if one of them did his best to draw attention to himself while trying to find a discreet hiding spot. 3 hours later, he takes his first tentative steps into search of freedom, and with the coast clear, he wanders back into the night.
At this stage, we don't know anything about the three males that are outstanding.
This whole chase began with a simple broken taillight, and just what these four men were planning in a stolen car and with some serious weapons is anyone's guess.
What they were up to last night, that's something we're trying to establish.
Ganyong Lee will stay behind bars for now after being refused bail, while police are still yet to catch up with his three mates. Steve Hart for 10 News First.
Just over a week ago, we brought you the story of two deer dashing through our inner west. Well, one was caught, but its friend has been on the run ever since. Today, she was found in the city, crossing bridges, waltzing down our busiest streets and trotting over train tracks.
Why did the doe cross the road? Well, no one has any idea. For the second time in a fortnight, Sydney was buzzing with strange sightings.
And what did you see exactly? Just describe it.
A deer standing in the middle of the road.
Last Tuesday, two were snapped sauntering down inner west streets. One was caught, but the other slipped the net until this morning in Pyrmont.
He saw it near Harris Street at around 10 to 5 this morning. He said it was too big to be a dog. So I guess that means it's a deer.
Then, quite literally, in headlights on the Anzac Bridge, before being spotted at the intersection of Broadway and Harris Street. It then made its way to the rail corridor at Central, sparking 17-minute delays, and then onto Cleveland Street, cornering itself at a Greek Orthodox cathedral.
Just outside our property here on the railway embankment. It was funny because coming in, I heard on the radio that the poor deer's done his rounds.
And that was the end of the line. The startled deer stuck up on an embankment, police and vets down on the tracks, trying to coax her out of her hiding spot to tranquilise her. After 6 hours of drama and dashing around the city, the deer was given a somewhat VIP treatment, brought here to Taronga Zoo under lights and sirens with a police escort to be looked at by some of the best vets in the country. Unfortunately, even they couldn't save her. The zoo revealing this afternoon her injuries were too severe after so long on the run. Charlotte Goodlett for 10 News First.
Major light rail construction on Parramatta's popular Eat Street is set to be fast-tracked for completion by mid-next year in a bid to bring diners back as quickly as possible. 3-month tools down period over Christmas will now be scrapped after feedback from local businesses showed that an early finish would be more beneficial. The first phase of the transformation will be ready by next August before more light rail works commence. To our eye in the sky tonight for the latest on Sydney traffic, it's Marina Ivanovic. Marina, it's slow going tonight on the M5. Do tell.
Well, Sandra, through Milperra, the M5, it is a little slow from an earlier breakdown. It has cleared heading westbound on the M5. I'll show you the traffic now. It's really starting to recover. It's seeing quite a bit of congestion, though, heading westbound, approaching the area, and traffic heading all the way back through to Padstow looking like this. Citybound traffic not too bad at the moment. And near the M5, if you're heading through Moorebank on Heathcote Road, we've just had word through of a van and motorcycle accident taking out lanes in both directions. I'm Marina Ivanovic in the Tassal Salmon Traffic Chopper.
And coming up here on 10 News First, unit rents are the lowest they've been in years as more Sydney siders head out of the city, where you can get a bargain. Those details in just a few minutes. Let's get to the news and sport now with Matt Burke. Matt, one NRL coach is pretty hot under the collar before their prelim final.
Yeah, not happy, Sandra, at all. That's all to do with the border restrictions. We'll have the details next. Plus, could this be the last time we see Scott McLaughlin in a supercar at Mount Panorama? And what hoodoo? The Wallabies assistant coach has some choice words for his players about Eden Park.
Tuesday night, taco preparations begin. A dominant female wrestles with the guacamole, whilst her counterpart has found an alternative to beef mince. With grace, they settle into their nest for the evening.
In other news, there's an energy provider that chips in for your internet, making it a great time to go dodo, because it always is. With unlimited NBN plans now from just, $55 a month, when you combine with energy. And in other news, it's still a great time to go dodo.
Nothing fake. Nothing artificial. Nothing but real. You know what's in their hearts. But do you know what's in their food? High quality meat, no fillers, Australian made. Show you care. Feed responsibly. Black Hawk, every ingredient matters.
Look at you, no braces and all the internet you can handle. I wasn't so lucky.
Invis is not your parents' braces. Invis is predictable, less painful, more comfortable. Invisalign.
Straight from the world's best plant scientists comes Scott's Performance Naturals, a range of soil and plant foods made from 100% natural ingredients to grow your plants twice as big. Scott's Performance Naturals. Incredible results, naturally.
Find out what your ancestors built with free access to all Australian and New Zealand records this weekend. Simply type in a name and let Ancestry guide you on a journey of discovery. Get free access until Monday at ancestry.com.au.
Oh my God! Look how big that is! I've never seen one ever in the history of MasterChef around the world.
What's the challenge going to be?
What are you doing, Philip?
What is inside it?
You'll have to wait to find out. The biggest mystery box ever. 7:30 Sunday.
Catch up on every episode of The Bachelorette.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Stream for free on 10play.
Coming to do what?
Take down the superheroes. So what's your big plan? You'll love it.
I won't love it. I never love it.
Noted.
At Terry White Chemmart, get real deals on trusted brands like pharmacy-only Rhinocort nasal spray, Panadol Children 5 to 12 years, Metamucil Powder Smooth Orange. Shop in-store or online. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart.
Yes, you're something, really something.
Keep your memories alive for future generations. Memories.com.au, where memories keep living.
Rules are made to be broken. Only with Vodafone, you can get infinite data at the speed you choose, plus data at max speed to use how you desire. So if you wish to rule your feed, stream entire seasons, or upload to the cloud in your virtual boardroom, switch now to a plan with faster infinite data. Rule your speed, rule your network, rule infinitely. You rule. with Vodafone.
Miley has a surprise for Graham.
I did want to create something special for you and your show.
Find out what it is on New Graham Norton.
Good evening. Ricky Stewart has slammed the Queensland government for compromising his side's preparation for tomorrow's grand final qualifier against the Storm. The Raiders coach blaming red tape for stopping his side entering the state early.
Don't deprive Ricky Stewart of his nap.
There's another punch in the head that we've copped in week leading up to a game.
The Raiders plans to head to Brisbane early and check into a hotel on game day to allow the players to rest, hitting a snag despite 3 weeks of talks with the NRL.
Typical of the Queensland government at the moment. Queensland government got back in touch with them at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and we needed all the protocols and the red tape we need to go through done by close of business.
Stewart's blow-up likely a ploy to take the pressure off his players as they aim for their second grand final in as many years.
No team's had the magnitude of this type of challenge for 12 months. And it's no one's fault. It's just the challenge that we've had because we're an out-of-town team.
Melbourne may argue otherwise. They've spent most of their season far from home.
There's been a bump in the road. We've just gritted our teeth and hung on.
The Storm facing their opponents head-on at training with their reserves in Canberra colours. Dal Finucane is likely to play alongside Cameron Munster. But today's captain's run may have been Cameron Smith's last as he weighs up retirement.
Because I said to him, we'd like to give you a decent send-off, and he said, why?
I'm hoping it's his last game in the NRL. But if it's his last game in Queensland, I'm sure he'll have the respect of all the people there.
Though Bellamy may be glad to see the back of him after this.
What are you doing? I didn't know he was behind me filming. To his credit, though, he stayed and helped, and I'd probably be still there if he didn't come along.
No, get someone else to do it. That's where I'm smarter than Craig.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
And they've had their differences in the past, but Wayne Bennett and Mal Meninga will put animosity aside to work together to coach the Maroons. The ARLC giving Meninga permission to come on board as an assistant with no test matches due to be played because of COVID-19. Normally, the Kangaroos coach can't be a part of an Origin team. Assistant forwards coach Jeff Parling has stressed nailing the big moments in Bledisloe 2 if the Wallabies are to go one better. The former England international has a pragmatic approach for his players about backing up against the All Blacks.
I think it depends on your mindset. If you tell yourself it's tough, well, it's going to be tough. But if you tell yourself you're about to play New Zealand in Auckland, well, you should be okay.
The Wallabies could welcome back Jordan Petaia from injury for Game 2. You can catch all the action this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on 10 Bold and 10 Play. Defending champion Scott McLaughlin says he's stress-free in what could be his final Bathurst 1000. He's already wrapped up the Drivers' Championship and flies to the US on Monday to take part in his first IndyCar race for Team Penske.
Maybe risk a little bit more on some qualifying laps and do a few things during the race, or make a few moves that maybe in a championship position I probably would not do, and that's what I'm excited for.
And the drivers hit the mountain for the first time in today's practice sessions, although wet weather may force them to change the setup of the cars for Sunday. And Sandra, it is a day on the couch, supercars into rugby, back to the supercars.
Locked in, set and forget.
Ready to go.
Love it. You've got a busy weekend.
Yeah, be good.
You'll love it. We will too. Thank you, Matt. Stay with us after the break. We'll check in on your latest weather details. Stick around.
What does it take to be a real Aussie energy provider? For starters, it helps to be Australian owned. At Red Energy, we're 100% owned by the mighty Snowy Hydro. It also means keeping jobs right here in Australia and being powered by a leader in clean, renewable energy. Now that's real Aussie energy. Red Energy, 100% Australian electricity and gas.
Big game!
I know, and I've got us the pies and the sauce.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Take this.
What's this? Heinz tomato ketchup.
Check this out. Heinz tomato ketchup is packed full of tomatoes, which makes it thick. And when it comes to taste, thicker is tastier. Upgrade to Heinz.
Straight from the world's best plant scientists comes Scott's Performance Naturals, a range of soil and plant foods made from 100% natural ingredients to grow your plants twice as big. Scott's Performance Naturals. Incredible results, naturally.
Dinner, a constant struggle. Wasting time buying food you don't need. Stuck in a rut of the same recipes. With HelloFresh, dinner is better. Easy recipes and delicious meals that everyone enjoys. Order your first box today at hellofresh.com.au. Inspiration delivered.
When you're ready to go back to work, career coaching is there to help work out what's right for you. TAL, ensuring this Australian life.
Find out what your ancestors built with free access to all Australian and New Zealand records this weekend. Simply type in a name and let Ancestry guide you on a journey of discovery. Get free access until Monday at ancestry.com.au.
After 4 decades of world firsts, Mitsubishi brings you an Australian first. 10 years warranty with 10 years cap price servicing. Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage. Built and backed for the time of your life.
Catch up on every episode of The Bachelorette.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Stream for free on 10 Play.
Collect your story of memorable firsts at Pandora.
This country makes some pretty extraordinary things. People, places, and over 65 years ago, Santos was made here too. Since discovering natural gas, we have been working behind the scenes supplying it to generations of Australians, while helping support communities, industries, our economy, and those everyday moments.
Santos is proudly made in Australia.
But it is Australia that's made us.
There's an unspoken promise to care for your pet. At Pet Barn, we'll help you keep it every day with 60-minute click and collect and an instant price match promise. Visit Pet Barn today.
Oh my God! Look how big that is!
What's inside the biggest mystery box ever? Find out Sunday.
Sydney has long been one of the most expensive cities in the world to call home, and it's taken a global pandemic to make it more affordable. New figures show a 6-year low in the cost of renting units. While some house rentals have spiked overall, it is good news for those struggling.
Sarah Tucker is wrapping up her life as a city slicker and opting for a tree change.
We just wanted to escape to something that would give us a little bit more tranquility.
Since March, Sarah and her husband have both been working full-time from their small inner-city apartment.
Definitely get more bang for buck, you know, when you leave the city and move to somewhere more regional. You get a house, you get 3 bedrooms, you get a backyard, you know, you get greenery.
Sydney CBD and surrounding suburbs are no longer in hot demand. There's been a sharp drop in international students, and also more short-term holiday lettings are entering the private rental market.
Unit rents are $25 lower than they were in March, and this is the steepest fall over 6 months in 16 years.
The rent drop for units has been the biggest in and around the city. This includes the eastern suburbs and lower North Shore. The upper North Shore and the northwest dropped around 7%. Unit dwellers in Canterbury, Bankstown and the inner west are getting rent that's cheaper by around 5% and 6.6% respectively. For South and southwest Sydney, it's less expensive by around 2%. The Northern Beaches remains unchanged and the Greater West has seen a very slight dip. Experts say for the first time in a long time, living in affluent pockets of Sydney is now more affordable.
Now's a great time to be looking at moving into the city or some of the eastern suburbs. There is a lot of supply and not a lot of demand, so the ball's in your court.
But when it comes to houses, it's more of a mixed bag. There have been rent drops close to the city, but middle and outer ring suburbs are seeing the biggest uptick, with rent rising around $30 a week. Antoinette Latouf for 10 News First.
Good evening. We have seen some storms sweep through parts of Sydney's west and southwest this afternoon. A severe storm warning was issued about an hour ago, but that has now been cancelled. A storm warning does remain in place, though, for the southwest slopes and snowy mountain districts. Sydney today reached a top of 26 degrees after an overnight low of 15. Right now, it's 22. An onshore airstream is producing low cloud over southwest WA and pushing into parts of the New South Wales coast, while a high-pressure ridge continues to draw warm northerly winds down from the tropics. That's leading to above-average temperatures across western and central parts of the state. A trough is expected to develop over the southern parts of New South Wales tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, a few showers lit up the radar this afternoon and a couple of storms, mainly around the Hornsby area. Those storms have now moved through and that severe storm warning has been cancelled. We could be in for a wet few days across parts of New South Wales, but the showers won't be spread evenly across the state. It's expected to start in the south tomorrow before stretching north and east over the next few days. Around the country tomorrow, Brisbane is heading for a warm top of 29 degrees, mostly sunny for Melbourne, 20 degrees, a cool top of just 14 for Hobart, heading for 23 degrees in Adelaide, 25 for Perth and a possible storm, and 32 for Darwin. Across the state tomorrow, Lismore heading for a top of 29 degrees, 26 in Newcastle, 19 in Nowra and 21 in Orange, 21 for Terry Hills tomorrow, 22 for Mascot, also 22 for Campbelltown and a top of 24 for Penrith. Sydney is heading for a top of 22 degrees tomorrow. Looking further ahead, there could be a late shower or two across the weekend. Similar conditions across the west for Saturday and Sunday, but those showers should clear for Monday and Tuesday. More weather soon.
Tonight's top stories: gunfire and bloodshed on the Central Coast, police shoot a man and search for another. The Premier fires back after revelations to the corruption watchdog see the opposition allege she is a sounding board for corruption. And mystery COVID-19 cases across the suburbs as more people are caught breaking the pandemic restrictions. A man has been shot and killed by police on the Central Coast when they stormed a home following a high-speed chase. A second man escaped. Police helicopters and the dog squad are still trying to track him down.
A man shot dead on this rural property, while the surrounding area is thick with police looking for someone else.
I think it was like a white Land Rover came flying up this street and down there. And then all the police cars just came from everywhere.
Police everywhere, guns drawn, looking into the bush.
A stolen car was spotted nearby this morning, sparking a pursuit.
A member of the community was following a stolen motor vehicle. As a result, that person contacted local police.
The stolen Land Cruiser rammed another vehicle this morning before police chased the driver through local streets. They eventually tracked them down at this rural property after a tip-off from a neighbour. They arrived to find the car on fire before they cornered a man as he tried to break into one of the buildings. That's when he pulled a shotgun and they shot him dead.
The offender, having a double-barrel firearm pointed at you, fear of life. There can be no more strenuous position for a police officer to be placed into.
A land and air search was immediately launched for a second person seen in the car. Neighbouring residents and nearby schools went into lockdown. Students were ordered to stay inside for most of the day.
I couldn't believe it when she said to send me a message saying they're in lockdown.
As the manhunt continues, homicide detectives have taken control of the crime scene. Leah Harris for 10 News First.
The Premier has issued a challenge to the opposition. Repeat your accusations about me outside Parliament. Now, they allege she has been a sounding board for corruption for her secret ex-boyfriend's business deals. It comes as the Upper House voted for the release of the Premier's private emails in relation to iCare, the troubled state insurance agency.
Back for a second day of evidence at the Corruption Commission, Darryl Maguire confirmed his close personal relationship with Gladys Berejiklian. The disgraced MP telling ICAC he sought guidance and reassurance from the Premier about his plans to manage his $1.5 million personal debt.
I only have a few friends that you can raise these things with, and I would have run it past her perhaps to get some, get a view.
And when you say run it past her, you mean run what past her?
Just what I was thinking in terms of doing with property or trying to solve some issues.
Evidence that made its way immediately to the floor of Parliament.
Darryl Maguire has today given evidence to ICAC that he sought your guidance and reassurance on solving his major financial problems. Will you admit that you were his sounding board for corruption?
The question put by the Leader of the Opposition is both extremely offensive, wrong in every single way, and I ask her to withdraw it or else say it out there.
Mr. Speaker, it's been said under oath. It's been said under oath.
Sorry. Is there another question?
The Premier has faced sustained questioning about what she knew of Maguire's business interests and accusations she should have reported him. Reporting is something the Premier called an obligation in 2018, shortly after she sacked Maguire.
Each of us are obligated to report anything we feel is of concern. That is our job as members of Parliament.
Okay, so
if those opposite...
Not a debate, member for Strathfield.
Why don't you ask me a question and listen to it?
ICAC will continue its cross-examination of Maguire tomorrow morning. Lachlan Kennedy for 10 News First.
It has been another day of bombshell revelations from inside the Corruption Commission. The Premier's former boyfriend revealing all about his secret dealings with property developers and his plans to clear a $1.5 million debt through the sale of a property in Badgerys Creek.
Darryl Maguire says his on-again, off-again relationship with the Premier is now behind him.
Are you still in a close personal relationship with Ms Berejiklian?
Oh, not after the events of this, I wouldn't be. No.
But her political future rests on his testimony.
You informed her that your debts were something like the $1.5 million figure that I identified.
I think in a general discussion, I may have raised it seeking some guidance about, reassurance about, what I was doing.
He's now admitted what he was doing was using his position as Parliamentary Secretary to try to organise meetings between property developers and other MPs so he could cash in on successful projects.
Who's in charge of the train station?
Well, Minister for Transport.
Yeah, who's that?
That's Constance.
Can we have a meeting with him?
Yeah, I'm sure. No problem.
When? Just because the location of the train station, I just want some clarity if they are going to move the train station and if they're looking at it. I want some straight answers.
That never went ahead, but they did once drop in on the Premier after sharing some drinks in his office.
He was insistent. He was insistent on saying hello to Glad.
He also hoped to bag up to $1.5 million for helping in the sale of a Badgerys Creek property, phoning his then secret partner.
And looks like we finally got the Badgerys Creek stuff done. That's good. I'll be glad when that's done because I'll make enough money to pay off my debts, which would be good. Can you believe it? In one sale. I can't believe it.
Earlier this week, she testified he was a big talker.
They always seem quite fanciful to me, and I always assumed that if any of them did happen to materialise, that he would have disclosed them at the appropriate time.
Maguire has admitted he didn't declare his money-making schemes, but for the Premier, the big problem boils down to this.
And of course, it's the Premier who is ultimately responsible for enforcing the New South Wales Ministerial Code of Conduct.
Ursula Hager for 10 News First.